Hey, this is Chris with Destination Art, and today I have a little bit of a different video. I actually went someplace. So I went to a destination and did art, destination art. Anyway, here's a really nice barn that I saw on the way there. I think I'm going to paint that. And then also, I went to a few different spots, and sorry for the jiggling camera. I'm not exactly sure how to walk and film at the moment. Saw some really pretty river and was just taking some reference photos. Then I sat down. I brought some stuff with me so that I could do some art on location, and that is a skill that you need to sort of learn. So I sat in the back of my hatchback of my car with my legs propped up and my overhead sort of boom system for my phone, and just worked on a little bit of a sketch. There was a really pretty tree where I was. I think you'll actually see it here in this shot in just a second. So I found all this great stuff. Now, the reason why I'm showing you all this stuff is for a learning. There's that tree that I was trying to draw. Okay, for a learning experience when you're trying to paint on location with some different scenes. So I did find that there were a few challenges that maybe that I can learn from, and maybe you can learn from. I don't know. So as let's see, a couple of things. One, I wasn't exactly sure about the tools that I had brought with me. I do like that watercolor palette, and I did actually have another one that I was using, but I haven't used them much. And the brushes I brought with me were not the brushes that I normally use when I'm at my little table filming. So I was challenged with the tools. Then I was also challenged with the idea of what to paint and how to paint it. So this, where I parked my car, this was the scene when you look off to the left, and I was sitting to the right, which made it awkward because every time I wanted to look at a reference, I had to turn over my shoulder, which I wouldn't recommend. Anyway, the silliness that I do when I paint. Anyway, and then my other thing that I was trying to do is I have the desire to paint everything that I see, and I have the desire to paint everything that I see with equal importance, which that usually turns out with I usually get a painting that is very green and the values are very similar. So I am experimenting with this little guy. I actually did 4 things, and I honestly hated everything. And this one I'm not done with. And the next one that you'll see I'm not done with either. Anyway, so my challenge here is there was a tree that I wanted to get in there, and of course I need to practice trees as well. I was trying to use a Danny Hawk sort of foliage process with this one, and I'm not sure it worked, but you should go look him up because his stuff is amazing. He's got the most amazing sketchbook stuff. I'm completely amazed. So anyway, I was trying to use his technique. And then I was also trying to just have stuff, information in one spot. So basically, I was trying to paint the focal point and then have sort of fading off information for other aspects of the scene, which I did that with this one as well. So laying in just a very light sky, because I also tend to overpaint. I mean, I just overpaint everything. I was thinking in my head I should switch back to acrylics, and then my dog is running around. I should switch back to acrylics so that I can overpaint it and change the values anytime that I want, right? Which watercolor is kind of hard to do that. So anyway, for this one, because the last painting I had the focal point really off to the side, and so this one I wanted the focal point and the information to sort of be more in the center. So I had paint across the page, but I wanted it just bright and dark in the center. And so I was playing with the water because it's a little creek, little river, right, which the water is brown. And the very first painting that I did, I painted it brown, and it was ugly. So anyway, it was awful. So here I am, just because, blue is just a little prettier as far as a landscape painting goes. So trying to do that, and then the shore up front, so the foreground, middle ground, and background, I'm trying to just make sure that there is a very clear focal point, because when you're trying to paint everything with equal importance, you don't really have a focal point. So anyway, I'm using it's kind of a big fluffy brush. I'm just using a dabbing technique to get a little bit of texture and get that one tree out there. The other trees, I just wanted a little bit of an indication of a tree and not much. So once again, these are not finished paintings by any means. They're just little studies that I did out in nature. And the exciting thing, I did this 2 days in a row, so I'm really excited that I will have a lot more reference photos to paint from. So I'm pretty excited about that. Anyway, so also, I took a class with Jerry Yarnell one time, and he said that artists really have kind of the hardest job because we have so many things that we have to manage at one time. For instance, we have to add, basically the composition, the value. We have to manage the details that we put in there. So I'm trying to balance the foreground details, the middle ground details, and almost have no details for the background. Anyway, so you have to balance all that, and you have to balance this, and you have to balance that. Well, anyway, so I love painting, but sometimes it makes me really depressed. So my attempt to go out into nature was to teach me some things, plus work on some things. Anyway, if you like this video, I'll show you the two final paintings next to each other. Like I said, not final paintings, but I'll show them to you. If you like this content, like and subscribe, and leave a comment, and thank you so much for watching.